let's do this one in different colors again. Number 1, it's rotations per minute. And I have radians per second over here. So I have 40 rotations per 1 minute. So this is going to be a couple of things here. At 1 rotation is 2 pi radians by rotation. I still got to get rid of those minutes though. 1 minute is 60 seconds by minutes. So I'm going to have radians per second. I forgot the C there. Radians per second, everything else canceled. So it's 40 times 2 times pi, enter, divided by 60. 40 times 2 times pi, enter, divided by 60, and I get 4.2 radians per second. And then I need velocity. We talked in class that velocity, linear velocity in meters per second, careful there, equals my angular velocity times radius, which leads me to, I had radians per second, which is 4.2 radians per second. And I have to multiply that by my radius, which they gave me is 2. My number is already in the calculator, so if you use 4.2, it might be a little different. And this equals 8.4 meters per second, which is up here, 8.4 meters per second. Let's go to 2. I have radians per second, 25 radians per 1 second. So I have to get to rotations, yes? 2 pi radians is 1 rotation, by radians. And then I got to get to minutes. So 60 seconds is over 1 minute. So it's 25 times 60 divided by 2 pi. 25 times 60 divided by, I'm going to use the little parentheses here, 2 pi, close my parentheses, and I get 238. Which makes sense, right? If I'm going 25 in 1 second, I'm going to go a lot more. 238.7 per minute. And now what are we left with? Just velocity. And velocity equals my angular velocity times radius angular velocity. It's got to be in radians per second. Is 25 because I'm going to meters per second, and my radius is 0.25. 6.25 meters per second. Radians went away. 0.25 was meters. Sorry, I left the unit out. My bad. Alright, let's go to 3. What do I have here? All I have is a radius and a velocity, so I'm going to have to pull out angular velocity equals angular velocity times radius. And what can I get out of that? I can get angular velocity is angular velocity equals linear velocity divided by radius. My angular velocity is 12 meters per second. My radius is 5. 12 divided by 5 is 2.4. And that's radians per second. So where am I going to put that? 2.4. And now I've got to get that to rotations per minute. So radians, there's 2 pi radians in 1 rotation by radians, and there is 60 seconds in 1 minute by seconds. So it's 2.4 times 60 divided by 2 pi. 22.9 rotations per minute. 4. Alright, they give me radians per second and velocity, so I'm going to have to go to v equals angular velocity times radius, and I can get radius out of there by radius equals v, whoops, I'm going to start over, it's getting a little sloppy there. My radius equals linear velocity divided by angular velocity, which equals my v is 40 meters per second, and my angular velocity is 15 radians per second, and this is going to come out to be something in meters. 40 divided by 15, which I feel like I should know that, 2.7 meters, and that goes here, 2.7, and now I need rotations per minute. I guess I could have done that one first, right? 15 radians per second. There's 2 pi radians in one rotation, and then there's 60 seconds in 1 minute, so it's 15 times 60 divided by 2 pi. And I'm getting about 143. What did we cancel here? Seconds canceled, radians canceled, so rotations per minute. And that's what we were trying to get over here, 143. Last one. 5. I've got 22 rotations per minute, and in one rotation there's 2 pi radians, and in 1 minute there's 60 seconds. But by minutes, but by rotations, I'm going to have radians per second. When I go 22 times 2 times pi, and I get divided by 60, divided by 60, I get 2.3 radians per second. So that's up here. And now I need radius and linear velocity. Are you kidding me? V equals WR, yes? Alright, so I had a W, which is angular velocity of 23. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, why does this keep doing that? It's really bumming me out, man. Seriously. There we go. Alright, well that was a minute of our lives we're not getting back. I'm trying to find radius. So V equals angular radius equals linear velocity over angular velocity. Linear velocity is 8. This is the longest question ever in the history of the world. 8 meters per second, 23 radians per second. I'm going to get meters when I go 8 divided by 23, and I get 0.35 meters for a radius. Finally. Thanks for hanging with me on that last one. It's late and I'm tired and I should be in bed. Just like you. Go to bed. Bye-bye.